Hello guys, it's Bino123 and I'm back with another r/entitled parent. Let's get straight into the video. This is titled, I'm always perfect and if you say otherwise, you'll be thrown out of school. Rise and fall of an entitled kid. I went to a normal elementary school, but like many, there was a gifted program. Basically, one day out of the week, all the gifted kids in the grade would head down to the classroom right by the PE field and do more advanced maths, science, history, etc. My gifted program also had a theme every year that would be the main focus of learning. One year it was the Mayan rainforest, the next year it was China, then art, then ancient Egypt, then Australia, etc. So, let's talk about the entitled brat. I'm going to call her Celia. Celia was a mousy looking girl whose nose literally stuck up. No joke, it curled slightly upwards and she constantly held her head up high. Celia was an art kid and she always drew beautiful works of art. Okay, so what's so bad about that? She also was always getting straight A's. She had never once gotten anything below a B. You think I'm exaggerating? I'm not. She constantly won every event in the school, to the point where barely anybody would enter into school events because they knew she would win. So, of course, Celia was in the gifted program. I did my best to avoid her, and she even had two idiot goons who followed her around everywhere. Both of the goons had the same name, so I just called them Natasha 1 and Natasha 2. Both of the Natashas practically worshipped Celia because, well, she was popular. So, anyway, in the first year I knew Celia, I was in kindergarten. There was no gifted program for this grade level, but Celia had been accepted early into the program. Why? Because she's so smart. The Natashas would call out, Celia fed on the attention, and she would smirk whenever people talked to her. In first grade, I was accepted into the gifted program. That year, the theme was the Mayan rainforest. Celia had spent the whole first day with the teacher on the gifted program, who I'll call Miss Darla, cutting out and drawing leaves, jungle, animals and trees out of the construction paper and decorating the classroom. I'll admit, it looked great, but the fact that Miss Darla was feeding her compliments almost every 10 seconds was a little odd. At the end of the year, the students in the gifted program would have a final project relating to the subject they learned. I had created a 3D model of a horned frog, which wasn't that great. I didn't care, but Celia came to school with her mother, carrying a giant painting of the rainforest. The whole class was in shock. It practically was like a photo and it was 8 feet by 3 feet. Her mother, who we'll call Pam, proudly displayed her child's work over top of other classmates' drawings. Nobody dared to move it. One student got too close to Celia's painting and Pam practically hissed like a snake at the student. Pam frightened me beyond belief. We would all vote on who did the best project at the end of every year, and Celia won, of course. The next year, the theme was China. Celia once again decked out the room with Chinese drawings she's made, and even took classes to learn how to speak Chinese. Miss Darla would allow her to come up to the front of the class and help her teach sometimes. Seriously, anybody who tried to question this received death stares from Celia, and yes, even a stern talking to from Pam. Oh, did I forget? Pam was the president of the PTA and was in our gifted classroom almost every day. She even graded our assignments when Miss Darla wasn't able to. Slowly but surely, Celia was taking control of the gifted program. During this year, a little website you may have heard of called Google wanted a new logo. They often have a day where a child's drawing becomes the Google logo for a day or two. Nearly everyone in the school entered, and guess who won? Celia, of course. A picture of the Google logo surrounded by fairies was displayed on their website. She also won the end of the year project again, making a 3D model of the Great Wall of China. Yay. This is how the years went on. Out of the thousands of competitions our school had, from writing to art to science to spelling to even track racing, Celia won them all. There was only a handful of times she didn't win, but she always got in the top 3. I only beat her once, which was the year we had the Egypt theme. I made a giant puppet theatre with gods and goddesses from the time period, and I told the story of how the world was created in Egyptian lore. Celia had also made a puppet show, but hers wasn't as detailed as mine, and I won the prize. But guess the truck what? Pam accused me of stealing her daughter's puppet show idea, and, an actual quote, "Look at that puppet show. Her parents had to have built that thing all by themselves. She clearly couldn't have done any of it by herself. She's a cheater." Did I also mention that Pam was a professional artist and sculptor, whose work of art looked like Celia's art style? Miss Darla didn't give Celia the prize though, as it was a class vote. Celia and Pam despised me for the rest of the year, and since they had the whole school on strings, it was like target practice for me for another 2 years, which was when I went to middle school. Celia went to my school too, and so did her mother, once again. President of the PTA, this school had a full-time gifted program, and Celia was enrolled, along with me. She still won everything, she still ruled the school, and even though Natasha 1 was somewhere else, not in the state anymore, Natasha 2 still treated her like a queen. Celia was eventually caught cheating at a spelling bee. Pam had been actually blinking her eyes, communicating in Morse code to her daughter on stage. You can't make this poop up. She also was caught entering in paintings with sloppy covered watermarks. These paintings were discovered to have been done by her mother as well. But Pam didn't see this as an issue. "She's an angel. I'm president of the PTA. You can't expel her. I'll expel anyone who dares to stand in her way." This isn't an actual quote, but one spread around the school, so take that one with a grain of salt. I actually have no idea how Celia stayed in school. She clearly was cheating on everything. In raffles at school, she would win the best baskets. Pam called out the ticket numbers, and whenever Celia would win, her ticket stubs would always be suspiciously bent while the others were straight. On her essays, she used words that many top scientists didn't even know. On tests, she never had her phone confiscated, and who followed her to every class? Pam. I am not kidding, she seriously would go to each damn class with her daughter. There would also be a few times that she wasn't there, but she always was in the school. During independent work, she would crouch next to her daughter's desk to help her. I went to a different high school than Celia, but along the way, Natasha too came to her senses and left Celia. Natasha too went to Celia's high school, to which she fed me this news a year after I graduated. I graduated a year early. Celia had graduated 2 years early, while still being spoon-fed success by her mother. Once she entered college, Pam no longer had control over her teachers. After only 3 weeks in college, Celia dropped out, due to her grades becoming worse and her refusal to play fair in any activities. She attempted to apply for a high-end job, but was turned down due to her not having a college education. Pam threw a hissy fit, but didn't get her way. Celia now lives with her mother, jobless, and can't help in her art studio because, guess what? She never knew how to paint. Yes, every beautiful piece of artwork was done by her mother. The only thing Celia had artistic talents in was cutting out shapes out of construction paper. I just find this so bizarre because that mother just trying to make the kid the best that possibly could be in school has pretty much ruined her life, and now she has no talent, no abilities to get a job. So that girl's gonna have to pretty much go on the internet and learn how to do things on her own, because if she doesn't, she's gonna have to struggle. Just like I'm struggling right now, because I was in special class, but I was stupid. This is titled "Ian verbally assaults me and my boyfriend for being gay at a restaurant." Okay, before I start, here's a bit of information about me and my boyfriend that'll be relevant to the story. I'm a 17-year-old German male. Sorry for any spelling or grammar mistakes in advance, and I have been recently lucky enough to turn my passion for coding and server security into a rather well-paying job. I'm also gay, which will be essential to the story, and all of this took place on my boyfriend's birthday a few months ago. My boyfriend is 20 and studies psychology at our nearby university. So, a few weeks before my boyfriend's birthday, I had made a reservation at his favourite restaurant for dinner. It's a rather expensive steakhouse, and as I had recently been able to make quite a bit of money from my independent programming, I wanted to invite him and treat him for dinner. When we arrived, we realised the place was completely full, and if we hadn't made a reservation, we wouldn't have gotten a table. In front of us, there was a mother. later referred to as EM, with two rather small children, when she was told that without a reservation there was no chance of them getting a table. It was obvious she was getting quite angry and upset, but we didn't really pay attention to her as we had a reservation. When we walked past EM and her kids to talk to the waiter, EM noticed us holding hands and she snapped, "How dare you hold hands in public space? There are kids here." Me and my boyfriend, we'll call him R from here on, turned around, not believing what he had just heard. "Excuse me?" I asked. He went on, "This is sickening. You're going to traumatize my children." Me and R looked to each other in disbelief and R responded, "Ma'am, we're allowed to express our love, same as you and your husband are. If you have a problem with that, that's not our problem." Meanwhile, the waiter in front of us had walked up to us to see what all the yelling was about. As I was trying to explain the situation, EM leaned in and yelled, "Those two faggots are traumatizing my children. How dare you serve them instead of me and my children?" At this point, I was getting angry myself. Normally, I'm a rather calm guy, but this was too much. I had seen the look on my face and turned me towards him to try and calm me down. The waiter then asked EM and her kids to leave, or he would have to call the police, and EM left. The rest of the evening was very nice, with the waiter bringing each of us free drinks as an apology for the inconvenience, but it took a while to shake that experience off. This just really triggers me because no one has a right over someone else just because of what they choose. You might disagree with it, you might agree with it, but you should never push your opinions on someone else. And I just think this lady is pretty scummy because there was no need. She had no reservation. That's it. You lost. Just take the L and leave. Why are you just gonna belittle someone else and ruin their day? Anyways guys, that's been a 1 to 3 and I'm signing off. Peace out. I feel like this sums up r/entitled parents, the subreddit forum in a nutshell. Posting about an encounter with an entitled parent. Wasting half an hour on writing a story that only a 12-year-old would believe. Making a post to complain about all the fake posts. Complaining about the complainers. And then you just have like some poorly drawn thingy with a picture trying to make people complain. Gotta love it sometimes. Trolls will be trolls.